Gombe Chimpanzee War from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. The Gombe Chimpanzee War was a violent conflict between two communities of chimpanzees in Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania, lasting from 1974 to 1978. The two groups were once unified in the Kasakela community. By 1974, researcher Jane Goodall noticed the community splintering. Over a span of 8 months, a large party of chimpanzees separated themselves from the southern area of Kasakela and were renamed the Kahama community. The separatists consisted of 6 adult males, 3 adult females, and their young. The Kasakela was left with 8 adult males, 12 adult females, and their young. During the 4-year conflict, all males of the Kahama community were killed, effectively disbanding the community. The victorious Kasakela then expanded into further territory but were later repelled by another community of chimpanzees. Prior to the 4-year war, before it became a national park, Gombe National Park was known as the Gombe Stream Research Centre. Since British. The park is located in the lower region of the Gombe Valley and is known for its primate research opportunities, first taken advantage of by researcher Jane Goodall, who served as the director of the Gombe Stream Research Center. The site itself is composed of steep poles of open woodland rising above stream valleys lush with riverine forest. The chimpanzees roamed across these hills in territorial communities, which divided the chimps into parties ranging from 1 to 40 members. The term Kasakela refers to one of these 3 areas of research in the central valley of the Kasakela in the north, the Kakombe, and the Makenke to the south. Evidence of territorialism was first documented once Goodall followed the chimpanzees to their feeding situations, noting their aggressive territorial behavior, but she did not foresee the upcoming conflict. After the succession of the Kasakela community, the newly formed Kahama were led by the brother duo Hugh and Charlie, with the other males being Goaty, Day, Goliath, and young Sniff. Kasakela males consisted of Figgin, Satan, Sherry, Everett, Rodolph, Joe Mayo, and Humphrey. War. The first blood was drawn by the Kasakela community on January 7, 1974, when a party of 6 adult Kasakela males, consisting of Humphrey, Figgin, Joe Mayo, Sherry, Everett, Rodolph, ambushed the isolated Kahama male Goaty while he was feeding on a tree. This was the first time any of the chimpanzees had been seen deliberately kill a fellow male chimp. After they had slain Goaty, the victorious chimps celebrated raucously, throwing and dragging branches with hoots and screams. After Goaty fell, Day was taken out next, then Hugh. Later on came elderly Goliath. Throughout the war, Goliath had been relatively friendly with the Kasakela neighbors when encounters occurred. However, his kindness was not reciprocated, and he was killed. Only 3 Kahama males remained: Charlie, Stiff, and Willy Wally, who is crippled from polio. Have you heard of a vaccine? Without a chance to strike back, Charlie was killed next. After his death, Willy Wally disappeared and was never found. The last remaining Kahama male, the young Stiff, survived for over a year. For some time it seemed that he might escape into a new community or be welcomed back into the Kasakelas, but there was no such luck. Stiff too fell to the Kasakela war band. Of the females of Kahama, 1 was killed, 2 went missing, and 3 were beaten and kidnapped by the Kasakela males. The Kasakela succeeded in taking over the Kahama's former territory. These territorial gains were not permanent, however. The Kahama gone, Kasakela territory now butted up directly against the territory of another chimpanzee community, called the Kalande. Cowed by the superior strength and numbers of the Kalande, as well as a few violent skirmishes along their border. The Kasakela quickly gave up much of their new territory. Furthermore, they moved back toward the Kasakela. Furthermore, when they moved back northward, the Kasakela were harassed by Atibu foragers, who also outnumbered the Kasakela community. Eventually, hostilities died down in regular order if things were restored. Effects on Goodall. The outbreak of the war came as a disturbing shock to Goodall, who had previously considered chimpanzees to be, although similar to human beings, rather nicer in their behavior. Coupled with the observation in 1975 of cannibalistic infanticide, by a high-ranking female in the community. The violence of the Gombe War first revealed to Goodall the dark side of chimpanzee behavior. She was profoundly disturbed by this revelation. In her memoir, Through a Window, My 30 Years with Chimpanzees of Gombe, she wrote, "For several years, I've struggled to terms with this new knowledge. When I woke in the night, horrific pictures sprang unbidden into my mind. Satan, one of the apes, cupping his hand below his chin to drink the blood that welled from the great wound on his face. Old Rodolph, usually so benign, standing right up to hurl a 4-pound rock at Cody's prostrate body. Jomeo tearing a strip of skin from Day's thigh. Fagin charging and hitting again the stricken, quivering body of Goliath, one of his childhood heroes." Legacy. When Goodall reported on the events of the Gombe War, her account of naturally occurring wars between chimpanzees was not universally believed. By the time scientific models of human and animal behavior virtually never At the time, scientific models of human and animal behavior virtually never overlapped. Some scientists accused her of excessive anthropomorphism. Others suggest that her practice of feeding the chimpanzees, has created violent conflict in a naturally peaceful society. However, later research using less intrusive methods confirmed that chimpanzee societies, in their nature state, wage war. A 2018 study published in the American Journal of Physical Anthropology concluded that the Gombe War was most likely a consequence of a power struggle between the three high-ranking males, which was exacerbated by the unusual scarcity of fertile females. Also see, Killer Ape Theory, proposed by Raymond Dart in 1943. Truly unfortunate tragedy that the Gombe Chimpanzee War was. Now let's read these statistics. Gombe Chimpanzee War. Date: January 29th, 1974, June 5th, June 5th, 1978. 4 years, 4 months, and 1 week. Damn, that's like longer than World War I. Truly a horrific conflict. Millions died. Location: Gombe Stream National Park, Tanzania. 4 degrees 4 minutes south, 29 degrees 23 minutes east. Decisive Kasakala victory. Belligerents: Kaha chimpanzees, Kasakela chimpanzees. Commanders and leaders: Hugh, Charlie, Humphrey. Strength: 10 on the Kaha side and 20 on the Kasakela side. Casualties and losses: 10 chimpanzees and 1 chimpanzee.